ever seen a 3-year-old child reading? Or is it possible for a child to start reading at age 3+? Sit back as I introduce you to this possibility.
This is the book I'm going to read today, and it's titled Little Red Riding Hood. I love reading books. Once upon a time, in a countryside, there was a beautiful girl. Her grandma made her a beautiful red hat. She wore it every day, so people called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to Red Riding Hood, "Send these cakes and rice wine to your grandma. She is ill. Come home early." Then Little Red Riding Hood.
Wow! So you can read like this?
Yes.
Well done. How old are you?
5 years old.
Wow! Well done, you. Creative Tribe, welcome to my channel. This channel is geared toward helping moms and teachers better educate their children using 21st century curriculum strategies. So if you desire to creatively deliver the 21st century curriculum in a digital and an organized way, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell below to be notified each time I upload a video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the most asked questions I get from parents each time they see my children read. The truth is, I come across children who are already 5 years and yet they have not started reading every year. So whenever I explain to their parents the strategies I use for my own biological children to get them to start reading, they become very amazed. My child started reading at age 3 years and 6 months, and now he is 5 years. His reading age has gone way higher than his chronological age. You can imagine when a child who is 5 years reads words that are up to 12 to 13 letters. I'm going to walk you through how I did it. I'm also going to show you the steps I took to get him to this level so that it will help you to get you started. But before we dive into this video, please subscribe if you have not done so and hit the notification bell below. For your child to start reading at age 3+, you must be intentional and you must start very early because it's not a magic, neither is it a rocket science. So it's something you must be intentional about. How do you do that? When you see yourself that you are pregnant, or maybe you just gave birth to your child, please set up a mini library in your child's room. This will help to remind you as you get into your child's room that you need to read to your child. Reading starts from as early as you can when the child is between 0 to 6 months. At 6 months, you have to start reading on a daily basis. Because when you start reading on a daily basis, it creates this consciousness and love for reading in the child's brain. And sometimes you may not remember to read, sometimes you'll be tired, your child will be the one that will get the book and ask you, "Mom, read this book." This has been the practice throughout the period I had my 3 children. As early as 6 months is the beginning stage. So you have to start at that stage. At age 10 to 12 months, this is the time or period you will introduce the letter sounds and letter names to your child. You can use a variety of materials, all depends on what you have at hand. Some parents might have digital resources, for example, DVDs or CD player, all depends on what you have. You might even use iPad. There are some games that teaches a child to recognize alphabets and their sounds. So this is the period you have to introduce that. When you introduce that, it helps your child to begin to recognize different alphabets and the sounds they make. Some scholars prefer not to teach the letter names, but I do both because it helps my child to really recognize letters that have those sounds. And then when we start blending, it will be very, very easy. So I advise you introduce letter sounds and letter names. Not only letter names and sounds, you can as well at this period introduce numbers between 0 to 10. Your child will begin to recognize these numbers. Sometimes I introduce this using different strategies. So it will help your child to begin to recognize these letters and their sounds. Aside that, you can as well introduce other things like colors like shapes, or even animals, especially farm animals. So these are the things you might introduce at this period. You can also use flashcards or games aside the digital resources. You can go using maybe pictures of animals, especially pictures of animals with letter names and sounds that you are introducing. So it's something you can easily do at this stage. At age 1 year and 8 months, your child must have mastered the letter names and their sounds. I would advise that you try as much as possible to assess, because if you don't assess, you won't be able to know whether your child has mastered the letter names and their sounds. What do you need to assess? I link the resources in the description of this video so you can print them off and then use them to assess your child. And if you notice that your child have not mastered the letter names and their sounds, please do not proceed to the next stage, because when you do that, you are going to alter the progression. So it is something you can easily do by just taking your time. It depends on each child's ability to recognize and master. Sometimes some children tend to be slow, some are very fast. So if you notice that your child has mastered this, please proceed to the next one. This is also the period you need to introduce identification of the initial sounds using two-letter word family. Now let's go to the next stage. The next stage starts from 2 years and 3 months. Having introduced the identification of the initial sounds using two-letter word family, please assess your child to know whether your child have grasped these initial sounds. If you notice that your child have not grasped these initial sounds, just like I said earlier, do not progress to the next stage. Please stop. Find out what the challenge is. Continue teaching your child until he or she masters this. And then you now progress to the next stage, which is identification of the final sounds using two-letter word family. The reason why I decide to use these two-letter word family is because when a child identifies the initial sound, the only letter that will be left there will be the final one. And then when your child have mastered the initial sound and the ending sound, or the beginning sound and the ending sound of two-letter word family, you now progress to the next stage, which is identification of the middle sound. In teaching identification of the middle sound, you will now introduce three-letter word family. The reason why I did not use three-letter word family is because it tends to confuse the child. So I try as much as possible to use only two-letter word family for identification of the initial sound and the final sound. Now, coming to the final sound, you have to use three-letter word family for your child to identify the middle sound. When your child has mastered the middle sound, you will now begin to blend. At age 2 years and 6 months, this is the time you introduce blending. This takes a little bit longer. It all depends on the child. Some children tend to learn faster than others. So you have to monitor your child and observe to know how fast your child can blend. How do we blend? There are some resources I use for blending. I also link them in the description of this video. Please, you can download them and use them if you like. And I also want to say that they are all free. So it's something you can easily use to teach your child or help your child. So go ahead and get it. It will help you. Just like I said earlier, please do not just be angry with your child when he's not getting it, because it tends to be longer. So also assess to find out whether your child has started blending very well. Please do not hesitate to allow your child to read anything anywhere he or she sees. For example, if you go to visit the doctor at the hospital, just allow your child to read anything, any word he or she sees, because this is the time they will begin to practice what they have been learning at home. So encourage them to read the signs along the road, to also read the labels that they see. This is how to help them to begin to develop more love for reading. I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things from this video. Please tell me in the comment section below what strategy you wish to use to help your child to start reading, because I would like to know. If you want to see more videos on instruction, organization, and creativity, please subscribe and hit the notification bell below in order to be notified each time I upload a video. I am Blessing Promise Jeremiah, and I'm the content creator behind Classical Creativity YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Bye!